Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Monday, September 25th, week 4 of college football. Week 3 of NFL's in the books. This is the live show we do every weekday morning at 10:30 Eastern Time. I give my official picks. Last week, another successful week in college football. Overall, in all my picks that I gave publicly, I went 13-8. 13-8, 13-7 in the video picks, and then I threw on over in the Penn State game, which was a loser. So I went 13-8 overall in college. On Sunday morning was when I capped all my NFL, which I actually did pretty well, and so I didn't give any NFLs. We're still 3-1 overall in the NFL. I'll try to give some NFL picks earlier in the week. Now overall in college, my overall record on the year in my public picks here, 28-20. So that's 58%. Very nice, better than the Sharps, according to Brent from BetDSI. Plus 6 units, plus 12% ROI. Very nice. Very happy about that. And, of course, in MLB, I wound up the week 2-0 on Friday. Fewer plays nowadays in MLB because things are really getting very weird with teams, clinching and the last week, going into the books. But it was still a successful week last week. I went 2-0 on Friday. White Sox first 5 innings over was a huge casher, easy play there. And Oakland on the first 5 innings, team total over. So I went 2-0 to finish off the week winning. And now overall on the year, this is not since July 5th. This is overall on the year, up 15.5 units plus 2.3% ROI. Winning record is 317 wins and 275 losses. Average line of -109, so plus 15.5 units overall on the year. And since July 5th, when I made the switch to the Yankees jersey, of course, that's up like 40 units or something in baseball. So,
all sports?
What? No, that's just baseball. Up 15.5 units in baseball. In college football, up about 6.2 units. In NFL, just up 2 units. MMA up a bunch of units. Up in all sports. Very happy about this. I'm finally coming into my own. All right. Thanks to Intertops. Shout out to Intertops, friend of the show, sponsor of the show, and of course, is the promo code thing still going on? All right.
They're in the description, but it's Intertops promo code. We got a pair, LOSHAKFIRST and LOSHAKRELOAD.
Sounds good.
You know what they are.
All right, so let's quickly talk about the review football this past weekend. A lot of crazy stuff in NFL, of course, and the big debated game. Well, there are a couple of debated games of the week. The first one was Alabama Vandy. Now I was all over Alabama there. A lot of people, surprising amount of people were on Vandy, and I was right. Turned out I was right on that one, wasn't I, Marty? Yeah, they won like 53-0 or something ridiculous.
Yes. Yes, that was the outcome expected, but it's an easy outcome to bet against.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying. And then the second most controversial game was the West Virginia game, where I took Kansas at plus 20.5 on the opening line, and then a bunch of people were saying that they thought West Virginia was going to roll. And of course, our friend Colin Keenan, I believe from Australia, reported that he was betting his house and his parents' house on West Virginia minus 21.5. Throughout the week, I kind of started to feel like I was on the wrong side of that one, and it turned out there was sharp action on West Virginia, and then I was going to take it back on Saturday morning, except the line at that point was 23 or 23.5 or 24. So I said in the show with Big Man, I said, look, I'm not going to take it back here because I could get middled, and if I had done that, I would have gotten middled because it wound up landing on 22. So in the end, it turned out the perfect way because Colin Keenan cashed minus 21.5. The Sharps cashed. I didn't get middled. I just ate that one loss. And Colin Keenan now has 4 houses. I ate that one loss, but I also got a winner with Cal plus 17. So everything turned out okay. And that's why you have to be very, very careful when you take back your bets and you have a risk of getting middled, as I would have had with the West Virginia game, because sometimes you do get middled, and it will happen. Don't think that it won't happen, because it definitely will. It happened to me already once with the Tennessee-Florida game, and it would have happened with the West Virginia game if I had tried to be sneaky and take it back at the last minute at a bad line. So you got to be very careful. Of course, the flip side of that is if you try to go for a middle where the line moves in your favor and then you take it back, don't count on hitting a middle, but sometimes you do hit those middles. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Colin says, I got a house for you.
Very nice.
Are you kidding me? You thought me me and Justin are the same person.
No. Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, so there is an NFL game tonight, which I'm going to talk about, an interesting game. I feel it's a tough one. NFL is tough. I did wind up, I'm doing pretty well in the Jimmy the Bag contest. I'm in 60th place, which is actually great because there's 1,200 people in there. Yeah, and that's excellent. That's better than top 10%. You're in top 8% if you're top 100. Yeah, really, really tough. And the Beat the Prick contest is even tougher. On that one, I'm also doing well. I'm in like 250th place. It's really tough. But okay. So we have a lot of stuff to get to here. Yes. Yeah. Well.
A lot of quarterbacks are getting those short prop rushing yards.
Yes. It's
keeping track of those.
Yeah. The game tonight is interesting, and it might be worth a play with a prop bet. Once again, in the NFL, sometimes when the spreads are dead on, but you know what the game plans are, you just don't know which team is going to be execute better. The prop bet's going to have the best value out of them all.
Some of them are just really laughable.
Yeah.
Guys are getting a yard and a half. I mean, you could trip and fall.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can definitely find in a lot of NFL games. The best value can be found with props. There's no question about that. And of course, because it's the NFL, a lot of books offer them, and you can get actually a lot of money down on those prop bets. So all right. So let me in MLB. Let's see. Let's quickly get to some comments here. For college football. So there is an NFL game tonight. The MLB card is interesting. There's a few bets that I am liking, but in general, I'm feeling like I'm going to have not that many MLB picks this week. Not because I'm trying to, reduce my picks and maintain my winning record. Absolutely, that's not the case at all. It's just that it is definitely getting into the funky part of the MLB season. You definitely, now more than ever, you have to check the lineups because there will be people out every day that take you by surprise. And once again, when you're doing that, a lot of times I'm more likely to bet on an under than an over because if a big bet, because the totals are mostly, assuming a full lineup. And if a big bet goes down, it helps the under. It's not going to help the over. So, but there are a few things that I'm looking at on the MLB card today. Anyway, let's first talk about the NFL game tonight, right? We may as well talk about that one. It's an interesting one, obviously. Wow, and SBR odds is right. There we go. Dallas and Arizona. The issue here, Dallas, of course, got crushed in Denver last week. They're not that bad, but Ezekiel Elliott got bottled up, and maybe he doesn't quite have the desire to be an elite NFL running back. I don't know. I saw a funny tweet where a guy compared his abs from Ohio State to his first year to last year, and his stomach got like fatter each year. So I think Ezekiel Elliott's still going to have a good game here. If ever there's a game where he's going to be motivated to have a good game, it's got to be this one. And Arizona on the other side, Carson Palmer. At what point do we start to downgrade him? I think now, right? Yeah, maybe last year.
It's funny because Palmer and Chris Johnson.
Yes.
A few years ago, that would be.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, that's.
And Fitzgerald, and so Arizona's getting a little bit old. Both teams have injuries, right? Arizona has some pretty key injuries on offense. Dallas has some pretty key injuries in the secondary, but they got some guys to replace them. My sense is that the injuries are probably a little bit more deleterious for Arizona, and then also just the defensive schemes I think also favor Dallas. Arizona, of course, loves to blitz, and Dak Prescott is one of the best NFL quarterbacks against the blitz. So is Carson Palmer historically, but that's not really what Dallas does. So the matchup there, I think, favors Dallas as well. My sense is that Dallas is a play tonight. Yeah.
I think their loss last week will actually help.
Right.
They are not that bad.
And Arizona, this is their first home game, so they're probably not quite as bad as they looked against, Indianapolis. But still, I think Arizona has some pretty serious question marks here. Carson Palmer, a question mark. Chris Johnson, a question mark. Their defensive schemes against Prescott, a question mark. So I'm liking Dallas. And I'm thinking I did bet it, and I'm thinking, you know what? I will give that one. I will give that one as an official pick. I'll add it onto my official record. Minus 2.5 now. It's now down to a 2.5, and I'll take 2.5 minus 113 at Pinnacle right now. I'm liking Dallas. I could easily lose. Obviously, I don't like to bet against Bruce Arians ever, really. Bruce Arians is a great coach, especially as a home underdog.
You're the best coach in the world. If you don't have a team to try out there, I mean, they really do not have a lot going on.
Right. So yeah. So it's a tough game. I've been doing pretty well in I was handicapping the NFL yesterday, early morning, finalizing my picks, and I was like, man, this has weird card written all over it. The one pick I really wanted to tweet out, which I didn't, was Houston getting all those points against the Pats. You know that there's something up with the Pats, right? We saw it in week 1. Defensively, they have issues. Brady might be taking a step back at some point this year. I think that the Pats, I said this after the Chiefs game, they obviously covered their next game, but I thought that, I still believe it, that probably going forward, the Pats are going to be a little bit overvalued, especially when they're a big favorite like that. And I think this week, they're giving 8.5 to Carolina. The Panthers obviously didn't look that good last week. Tough to come, on the road against New England, coming off a tight game and playing tight. But I think once again, New England might just be giving too many points here. Yeah. It certainly is. It certainly is, Marty Spice. All right, so I will give Dallas -2.5, -113 as an official pick, adding it onto my record. I haven't just because of the way my personal schedule has gone, I haven't given any NFL picks in these videos except for a very few, and I just for out of cowardice, out of being too chicken shit, haven't tweeted out any of my NFL leans, because the NFL is like really obviously, as we've seen, really tough. But I will give that one. Some interesting stuff coming up this week. As far as the opening lines in the NFL, I'm thinking that obviously Philly's a great team, but I'm thinking this might be a spot where the Chargers are a good play at pick'em or -1. The Chargers, of course, are 0-3, but they should be. I think they're better than what they are. The first week, loss was forgivable in Denver, and then maybe you give them mulligan for the loss to Miami as well. But it feels like it's a good spot for the Chargers. Philly, obviously, they're coming off a win, but not a cover. They didn't really blow out the Giants, and feels like the Chargers are more likely than not to get a win here. So I did. That's the one bet. That's the one NFL opening line that I did bet. I took the Chargers at pick'em. Actually, I got it at Heritage -1 other places. And let's see. And what else? Yeah, that's about it. I'm thinking about hitting Carolina, but I haven't done it yet. And I did hit the Chargers. I think as of right now, that's my favorite play on the card. And I will throw on Dallas as an official play, added onto my record overall. All right, then looking quickly at college football opening lines, there actually weren't that many opening lines that I really liked a lot. Though there's a couple that I did hit. The first one I hit was Pitt, right? Pitt, I believe they're going up against they're against Rice, right? Let me just find that game. Pittsburgh against Rice. Obviously, Pittsburgh has struggled this year, and they played some tough competition, but they also struggled against Youngstown State in week 1, so that's not good. But we've seen how terrible Rice is, right? And when you have a team like Pitt who's been losing, if they're motivated to get a blowout win here, they will be able to get it over Rice. The question is, do they have the talent edge? I think probably they do. So I hit Rice. I hit Pittsburgh at I actually got -20.5. Now it's down to 20. So I hit that one. Nothing crazy, but I did hit it. And then one of my big losers in college football was Maryland. I thought that Maryland was going to be a great bet against Central Florida. They didn't play Kasim Hill though. That's the thing. I thought that they had this 17-year-old true freshman phenom at quarterback, and I thought he was going to have a good day, more likely. Yes, I was like, I think he's going to have a good day more likely than a bad day. Didn't count on them not playing him though. So it turned out that and Maryland got absolutely crushed. They're going on the road, getting double digits against Minnesota. I think Minnesota, they've had a good season so far. They're coming off a bye. I think they're a little bit overvalued here, not quite seeing double-digit edge over Maryland. So I also hit that one a little bit, and that's about it. Other than that, there's a lot of interesting lines. Those are the only two that I definitely jumped on immediately, but I'll be jumping on others, as they show themselves, reveal themselves, have value to me. And I'm getting the sense that this might be a week where totals in college football. I might have a good week in totals in college football this week. That's the way the card is looking. There's a lot of Oklahoma State and Texas Tech are going up against each other. What's that total going to be? My guess is 90. Last year they did play and the game went to 89. Even if it's 90, that might be a good bet on the over, because Texas Tech coming off a game where Oklahoma State obviously coming off a loss, Texas Tech coming off a low-scoring game. This one has just 115 written all over it, right? So we'll see what that total is when it opens. My guess is it'll be a little bit less than 90. It'll probably be like 87 something like that. Might even be a good bet at that line as well. A lot of interesting games in college football, a lot of interesting opening lines, but I won't get to that. We can get to MLB right now, and I'm going to hold off just for a day or two on giving Pittsburgh as an official pick. I'm going to look into it a little bit more, and then, but that's the only one that I really hit on the overnight line, as well as Maryland. All right, so let's get to the MLB card today very quickly before we get to some comments here. Again, with MLB, you really have to be careful about the lineups, about who's in and who's out. But today in MLB, of course, Luke Weaver is starting, and he has been absolutely lights out since he's joined the rotation. And I was pretty much on that train from day one. I was like, this guy might be great in the majors. I think I bet him in his first start before he even had a start. Then he was great, and I was like, all right, I'm betting on this guy, until further notice. Things can get just in my personal experience, things can get a little bit funky in the last week of baseball. Guys like Luke Weaver can sometimes have an unexpectedly off start in their last start of the regular season. So I'm not sure how I want to handle this one, but that looks like an auto play. Let me see what the team total is for the Cubs. If it's 2, the first 5 innings team total is 2 minus 117. God, I mean, just like, my gut tells me that Weaver might be a little bit off here, but I don't think he will be. I think he's going to be as good as ever. The team total under 2 minus 117 for the Cubs is probably a good bet. Lester's also been struggling a little bit, so St. Louis on the first 5 innings money line might also be an excellent bet, and that is, let me just find that line very quickly. Let me just find that one. That is, minus 130. At Bookmaker and BetDSI. Pinnacle probably has a slightly better line. So I'm leaning St. Louis first 5 and leaning Cubs first 5 innings, team total under. And then 2 games that I did bet on the overnight line. The first one, I did bet Boston at -1. And I also bet, what was that other game that I bet? I bet Boston -1. I also bet Philly at -1. And Boston, Brett Anderson, his last start, I knew he had blister issues, but someone posted that they like the under in that game, and I was like, all right, normally Brett Anderson is good. Wound up coming out and getting absolutely crushed. Now they're throwing him out here again. Normally he's a decent starter, but in this spot, I don't know if he's going to have blister issues again. He probably will be a little bit better or a lot better, but Pomerantz on the other side for Boston has been great, and in general, Boston's absolutely rolling right now. Toronto's very beatable. So I did bet Boston on the -1 line, a little high at the -150. And then on the other side, the other game I bet was Philly -1. Cole against Nola. Nola, of course, has been absolutely lights out. He's been reliably excellent. Not lights out. Lights out is Luke Weaver, and lights out is Clayton Kershaw when he's on his game. Nola has not been lights out, but he's been reliably excellent. 7 innings, 1 run, 2 runs, most starts out. Cole on the other side is pretty good, but again, Philly has been as they brought up a bunch of rookies who have been really productive in their lineup, and they've been winning. So Philly on the first 5 innings or even -1 are 2 plays that I'm also thinking about. And maybe my best bet of the day might be the Angels on the second half. The Angels are playing the White Sox. Regular viewers of this show, or anyone who studies bullpens closely, knows that the White Sox have had consistently one of the worst bullpens in baseball for a while, including the last month or so. And Nolasco is looking like he's pretty vulnerable for the Angels. The Angels have one of the best bullpens, have had one of the best bullpens in baseball consistently. So the Angels on the second half, I think, is a good bet. It's going to be a high line here. Oh, wow. Only -135. That's a bet right there. That's a bet right there. Angels second half -135. I even think Abreu might be out. He's been injured for the White Sox. So yes, Angels second half -135. Play of the day. I will count that as low-hanging fruit, just because of the bullpen disparity. Huge bullpen edge here for the Angels, and I think the Angels are also obviously kind of pissed off about losing recently a bit. So Angels -135 on the second half is definitely a play, and I would also be leaning on the first 5 innings over on that one. Both Shields and Nolasco are vulnerable, to put it mildly. One of these classic lines, 5.5, -105, -110. Pinnacle probably has +103 or something like that, a little bit better. So that's a lean as well. So yeah, let's see what else do we have here. The Atlanta Mets doubleheader. I'm not Flexen is starting for the Mets. Obviously, he's a guy that I would love to fade, but I really need to see the lineups and other issues. And then Fried on the other side for Atlanta is also a guy that I'd want to fade. So my first thoughts are take Atlanta in game 1, take the Mets in game 2, and also fade both of those guys on first 5-inning team totals. But I can't give any picks on that one until I see the lineups and certainly not, what. Yeah.
You always have strong opinions on double.
Yes, absolutely, yes, for sure. Which is basically that you have to really wait for the lineups to be announced, and also for the first game results before you look at what you do on the second half, on the second games. And then one other game that's kind of interesting is Houston against Texas. Obviously, Texas has kind of been slumping out recently. It's McHugh against Cashner. McHugh has been pitching very well since he returned from the DL, and Cashner, been good all year long with bad peripherals, but 2 starts ago he got hit harder. He got crushed, actually. His last start was a little bit better, but still wasn't that great, and his peripherals are still off. So Houston on the first 5 innings, just McHugh against Cashner, is definitely tempting right there, and that's just at -130 across the board. So I might wind up giving that one as well. Felix Hernandez making his next start. He is, not the Felix of all of those. Last start, he threw 3 perfect innings, and then the wheels came off in the 4th. So, I'm not looking to touch that game much at all. Gossett on the other side for Oakland has been very homer prone. So that game's a pass. Then Travis Wood, who as one commenter said so eloquently in his last start, took a collective shit on us, as in me and everyone who hailed the fate of him. Yes, he took a shit on, but then I pointed out that yes, he did take a shit on us, but we took a shit on 3 other starting pitchers that we were auto fading that day. So as long as you're shitting on more people who were shitting on you, yeah, I'm going to drop this. It was a repulsive comment that the guy, but it was funny. Yes, point is that Travis Wood had a great start unexpectedly in his last start, and I was fading him. It was a low-hanging fruit pick that lost, and he had a good start. I don't think that's going to happen again here, but Darvish has been starting to pitch a little bit better. I'm definitely not prepared to take the Dodgers as a huge favorite like that, though. Yet, again, even though Darvish has been pitching well, the Dodgers team total over 2.5, -125. So I'm tempted to take a shot with the Dodgers here, team total over, although it's entirely possible that Wood could have another decent start. I think it's probably not the likely result, but it's definitely possible. So in baseball, let's review, shall we? The only official pick that I've given officially so far, Angels on the second half. I'm definitely liking that one, and that counts as low-hanging fruit. As far as leans, Philly -1 and Philly first half, definitely both leans. Boston -1, definitely a lean. Houston first 5 innings, definitely a lean. Angels White Sox first 5 innings. Over is definitely a lean. St. Louis first 5 innings, definitely a lean, and I guess Cubs first 5 innings team total under is definitely a lean, and the Dodgers first 5 innings team total over to hit Wood is also a lean. So those are all the leans I'm looking at, and then of course the KC Yankees game. It's a 1:00 Eastern time start. That's a game I have to check the lineups for. I would be leaning under on that one. Jake Junis is of course, has been the real deal. Very impressive. A little bit, his strikeouts are a little bit down recently, and CC Sabathia continues to chug along, baby. CC Sabathia chugging along, as always. Really impressive. Good to see, because he had some problems with substance abuse, didn't he? Yeah, good to see. And he wears his hat cool. I always liked CC Sabathia, right? I always liked him. You hate it? Yeah. Good to see him bounce back, and really impressive. Just getting results, start in and start out. So I would take a lean to the under on that one. Although Junis has been a bit worse recently. Maybe a lean to the Yankees. Although I don't really want to fade Junis at that high of a line. So that's an interesting game. But the only pick for sure is the Angels second half, and all the other leans I'll probably wind up converting a bunch of those to official picks. Before this show is over. And again, I have given an official pick on Dallas -2.5, -113 over Arizona. Let's get to some comments that we have seen. Let's see. Yeah, Colin Keenan saying CC loves his liquor. Hey, look, I don't begrudge him that. If you can hold it together, I understand. Oh, right. Okay. Right. Yeah. In the great tradition of David Wells, a big burly lefty who, has a little problem with alcohol, but yeah, getting it done. I'm definitely looking to back him in general, but in the KC game, I'm gonna. He does. He does. I don't blame him.
So annoyed with that. I love the Yankees and CC's. When he complained about what's it, Nunez bunting on the first inning. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? You're old-fashioned. Of course you're gonna go
with a shitty attitude. Yeah. All right. So I'm not gonna touch the KC Yankees game today, although it certainly is an interesting one. Let's see. Blake Kersey saying, I got Thunder at 50-1 to win championship before all the deals. Very nice. Very nice. Blake Kersey. I am actually planning on starting in with my in-depth NBA research this week if I can. Let's see. Mike Keep saying, been on McHugh first 5 his last couple starts. I think he's in another good spot here. Yes. Astros turned the corner. Look like they're in playoff form since the Verlander trade. Yes. I think that's the low-hanging, the LHMFF, baby, of the day, low-hanging motherfucking fruit. Yes. The only thing that makes me just concerned is that this year I have underestimated Cash's ability to get results. You know, all year long he's outpitched his peripherals. His last couple starts were he started to get hit. But, you know, at any point, you know, Cashner, it seems like, is likely to have another start where he, you know, has 1 strikeout, 2 walks, but somehow continues to get results. But yeah, I think McHugh's going to have a good start here. Texas looks kind of lethargic. Houston, as Mikey said, is looking resurgent, and I like that one for sure. I'll almost definitely wind up giving. I'll give that one. I'll throw it on there. Let me just quickly check the Pinnacle line to see if they have a better one than minus 130, which is the market-wide line right now. Let's find that. Houston up minus 130. Every single book has minus 130, including Pinnacle. So I'll take that one. Houston, first 5 innings, minus 130. And that is at every book on SBR odds, minus 130. You can't line shop for that one. Sometimes line shopping is impossible. All right, let's see. So that's a second official pick. Darryl Lyle says, Boston I like today. Yes, I like him too. It's a high line, and Anderson is a guy pre-blister who I didn't really want to fade, but I agree with you. I like Boston today, and I'll be giving that one for sure. All right, so let's see. Colin Keeney just asked about the Yanks and CC. We just talked about that. Let's see. Michael Mayetta says, "Fuck Travis Wood." Yes, I can certainly understand that sentiment. Absolutely. I mean, as I said, you know, these low-hanging fruit plays, they are nothing close to locks. I think they're excellent EV plays. That means, you know, 60%, maybe even 65%, but nothing anywhere close to 100%. So they are going to lose, and at times people like Travis Wood are going to have good starts. All right, let's see. Mike Keep says, yo, Pete, what's up? Oh, but thanks for the Army under winner on Sunday. Yes, that Army-Tulane game. I also told Drew Martin that. I gave that one to Drew Martin, and I said, I really like that one. I told him exactly. I nailed that game. I said, I don't think it's going to cash by a lot because it's a low total, but I said, I think it's a really solid play. And he was like, okay, yes, I definitely like that one. And I'm hoping to find some more totals that I'm going to be liking this week. It's feeling like a totals week this week in college football. We'll see. All right. Hako Schofield saying, I do like the Angels, Pete. Yes, I like them on the second half because I don't trust Nolasco. Obviously, Nolasco and Shields, I think, are basically a wash. They're both pretty bad. So, and I think the big edge is in the bullpen. So I'm taking that one. Angels on the second half. Hako Schofield says fade last week of baseball. I don't know about that, Hako Schofield. I mean, definitely be 3 times as careful as you are in the other weeks of the season. But there can be a great value in the last week of any sport. Actually, there can be some of the best value of any sport. In all sports of the year, because things are just like, you know, they have to set the odds based on, you know, year-long stats, and they can, you know, shade them a little bit, but you can't just suddenly, I mean, there can be a team like, you know, I remember one year where it was like, I forgot what it was, but it was like, it was something where there was an obvious game where the Pats were not going to be motivated. This is when the Pats were just awesome. It was an obvious game where they were not going to be motivated. So they were, you know, a smaller favorite than they would normally have been, but you can't suddenly have the Pats like a 3-point favorite at home. You know what I mean? It's like, and yeah, so there can be great value at the end of the year in all sports. So yeah. All right. Okay. Let's see. B. Adabal says Dallas ain't winning shit. Honey Badger primetime. Yeah, it could lose. Look, I mean, there's some questions with Dallas, right? Obviously, the injuries in the secondary are a big concern. Obviously, the issues with Ezekiel Elliott last week are a bit of a concern. And also, Bruce Arians is a guy that I don't like to bet against, especially as a home underdog. But I'm making it a pick. I have my reasons, which I outlined in in the beginning part of this show. And yeah, Michael Maeda saying, I like the under. How can the Cards even score? Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on if Dallas is really gonna try to run it down their throat with Elliott, which they might do. I'm not sure what I think about the total. I just think I like Dallas. Hako score. All right. This disagreement here. Hako Schofield says Dallas will win. They're pissed from last week. B. Adabal says Dallas ain't winning shit. All right, I'm on the side of Dallas. So is the Prick, by the way. I noticed that in the Beat the Prick contest, the Prick has Dallas. The Prick's actually doing okay this year, 9-5, I believe, or something like that. So yeah. So let's see. Blake Kersey says Giants ruined my Skins Giants money line parlay 7-1. Wow. Okay. Sharps apparently were on Philly last week, which actually was a loser against the spread. But all right. So let's see. Other comments here. Blake Kersey says I was on Skins last night thanks to the BetDSI show info. Yes. Brent from BetDSI told us that Sharp Action was on the Skins, and I believe it was reported that Jimmy the Bag was on Oakland. So I mean, there you have it. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take a shot at Jimmy. You know, he went 0-5 last week, right? He did. Jimmy the Bag. Yeah, he went 0-5. I don't mean to take a shot at you. It's just yeah. I mean, when a guy goes 0-5, you got to take a shot at him. All right. So yes, the Sharps were on Washington, and the Sharps are not doing that well in college this year, but they're doing okay in NFL, and a lot of those plays have been pretty good. All right, so let's see. Colin Keenan says, I got a house for you. Yeah, really appreciate it. Colin Keenan hooking me up with a house. Now he has 4. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? What other comments here? Big E says those Sharps suck shit. At least a couple of them. Yeah. I mean, in college, the Sharp plays have gone that Brent has told us about, just 20-19 so far on the year. And there have been a lot of plays that I thought were just dead wrong. And I've been more often than not right. So I don't know who those Sharps are. I still suspect that, at the end of the year, the plays that Brent tells us about will turn out to have been, 54% or so. But there's definitely some questionable plays that they've been on. I've disagreed with them pretty strongly, and I've been right on that. Let's see. Blake Christie says, Pete, say Dallas Starbois again. I need a laugh. Yeah, Dallas Starbois sounds like a roller skating gay dude from the 70s or something, like like a roller skating gay superhero from the 70s, pre-AIDS. Dallas Starbois. Oh, there he is. Here he goes. Dallas Starbois, Asian weatherman. That was a good one. Wow, Asian weatherman. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. All right. So Rockies are hurting. Yeah, that's a game. Odrisamer Despagne is starting at Colorado. That's a game I'm throwing out. It's also an unusual Colorado game where there's supposed to be high humidity. Normally there's very low humidity at Coors, but I'm seeing 70% humidity expected for today's game. And if that's the case, you don't know if they're going to take the balls out of the humidor or what they're going to do. So, I mean, combining a game at Coors with the last week in MLB, that's a total pass for me. That I would endorse. If someone wanted to say just completely ignore all last week of baseball games at Coors, that I would agree with. All right, so let's see. Logan LaRue saying Dak over 19.5 rushing yards. I could see that. Yeah, certainly. I could see that. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Do you think they will blitz though? Because I think that yeah. I think they know that they'll get burned on it. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna? Yeah. They got to do something. I mean, they do have. Yeah. I think they probably would rather take their chances with trying to make Prescott pass into the secondary because they have a great cover corner there. I don't know. Yeah, I think Dallas is going. The problem with props and also the value with props is that they're more dependent on expected game plans than on expected results of the game. So yeah, if you know that they're going to blitz a lot, then yeah, Dak's at 19.5 rushing yards on the over is a great play. If you think that they're going to try to put him in the pocket and make him pass, beat him with a pass, which is possible, then that might not be the case. That might not happen. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm on Dallas. I bet it, And I guess that's about it. All right. Sonny Betts says, Pete's the man. Thank you so much, Sonny Betts. Dallas Starblaw likes the under. Colorado game under 11.5. You might be right there. I actually saw 12 on the overnight line. Obviously, Chatwood and Despaigne are questionable starters, but could easily see an under there. I'm probably going to be off of that one, but yeah. All right, let's see. Everyone friggin' is talking about Melo going to the Thunder. I'm not even bringing it up, but everyone just can't. They're so hyped up for the NBA season and for Melo going to the Thunder. We'll see how it all turns out. Wow.
The Knicks just got a little bit, maybe not better, but it's better for them.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But let's see. Houston, Hakos Goldman saying Houston and Tech game took a shit on me. Yeah, I mean, look, I had the over in that one. I bet it 71. It actually got bet down 68, which, as we've seen many times this year, does not at all mean that it's a great play on the under. But in that case, the line movement was right, and a little bit surprising. I guess the fact that it was such an early start might have had something to do with it. But yeah, just surprising. Texas Tech, a game that landed on 51. Surprising to me. All right, Mike keeps saying, dude, Odrisamer, that's your boy, Pete. Yeah, I don't want to make fun of his name too much because then I'll get fired for being racist. But it is a weird name. Any name with Odrisamer? Odrisamer, he's from Cuba. Yeah. Yeah, and but look, it's not any name with 4 or more syllables in it is going to be funny, right? I mean, some British dude with 4 syllables in his first name is going to be it's going to be a funny name, right? I dare you to think of one first name with 4 syllables in it that isn't funny. Any first name with 4 syllables is funny, right? And especially if there's like a last name with 1 syllable in it. But all right, so yeah, Odrisamer Despaigne starting today at Colorado, and yeah, who knows what's going to happen with him? He's been some starts getting crushed, some starts pitching. He's actually had some decent starts this year, so I'm just totally passing on that one. All right, let's see. Big E saying stop the female from walking back and forth. I lost track of what you're saying. Yeah. We try to. This is a MGTOW endorsed show, and we don't like women even in sight in the background. You know MGTOW, Marty Ice. This is a shout out to my brothers in MGTOW watching right now on the internet. Colin Keenan is saying, "Is Jim Bob Cooter a funny name to you?" Yeah, obviously, that's the low hanging fruit funny name of the of sports. Obviously. All right, so let's see. Antoine Seymour asking about the WNBA game. Yeah, the first game went over, and the Sparks covered the 4.5 points, which is actually how I expected it to go. I did handicap that game on my own later on, and it was a tough one. But I was thinking, they shouldn't be getting 4.5 or 5. They did lose. The next game, I'm thinking, might be a good bet on the first half under, as the first game was. That game goes on Tuesday, so we will be discussing it tomorrow. I'll look into that game a lot more, and we'll discuss it tomorrow. That game goes tomorrow. Game 2 of the WNBA Finals. I do love WNBA. All right, let's see. Other comments, and then we'll wrap up the show with finalizing my MLB picks here. Jamal Witten saying, "Hey Pete, I'm new to the show. Did you see the early Tennessee and Houston line? Tennessee -1.5. What did you think?" Yes. Jamel Witten, I did see that line, and in general, I'm looking to bet on Tennessee game in and game out. I used that one in the gym beat the bag contest this week. I bet it. I didn't tweet it out because I was too pussified to do it. I love Tennessee against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. So I love Tennessee that week. Last week, I liked them, didn't love them, and they cashed. This week, I think I'm still liking them, but it's tough. Houston has a lot of positives there, and Deshaun Watson is still an unknown, hard to prepare for, a lot of talent. In general, I'm thinking that Tennessee is probably going to continue to be a good bet. I would expect them out of their, let's say, next 10 games to cover at least 6 or 7 of them. This week, I still like them, but it's definitely tricky. I didn't bet it on the opener. Houston is a team that I like them to cover against the Pats. Deshaun Watson obviously is an unknown entity with a big upside. Young guy, a lot of enthusiasm. Still hasn't gotten beaten down by the NFL yet, so it's a tough one. In general, though, I'm liking Tennessee every week until further notice. And I definitely did bet them last week, and I liked them and in fact, there were a lot of people who were there were a lot of well, I won't get into it. I troll a lot of my friends. Like I have some friends who are saying to whatever. I won't get into it. I won't get into it. But all right, so that's about it. That's about it for the comments. Lou Skunt says, I already grabbed Georgia -4.5 this weekend. Really, Lou Skunt. Georgia is that's an odd game. Georgia is a significant road favorite. I believe it's now up to 7 against Tennessee, and I'm not totally sure that I know Tennessee struggled last week against UMass, but that's a game that I have circled as look into this one a lot more, and I'm going to figure it out because I'm thinking that Tennessee might have some value as a home dog. But Lou Skunt, as you know, my deep research during the week is what really matters much more than my initial thoughts. And Lou Skunt asked about the Miami game last week. He was liking Miami. My initial thought was that Toledo is a team you don't want to bet against as a double-digit underdog. But then later on in the week, I looked into that game in depth, and I said, Lou Skunt, I changed my mind. I think Miami's a good bet. I actually wound up betting it myself, and, of course, they wound up covering fairly easily. So that's an interesting game, though, Lou Skunt, the Georgia-Tennessee game. I'm definitely going to look into that one a lot more. All right, so let's all right, here we go. Antoine Seymour saying, thanks, Pete, you're the shit, and so is this show. Now, that's a comment. That's what I call a comment there. Antoine Seymour, thanks so much for that positive comment. Love it. Thank you so much. Wow, Lou Skunt, 5-unit play on Miami, Florida. Nicely done. Lou Skunt, great eye. You saw that one way sooner than I did, but to my credit, I did see it. I did wind up seeing it. So nice job on that one, Lou Skunt. And Miami's game this week is actually very interesting. I forgot who the hell they're playing, but I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, that's an interesting line. I'll get into that later on. I can't remember who the hell is Miami playing this week. Who the hell is Miami playing? Oh yeah, Notre. Oh no, that's Miami of Ohio. Sorry, Miami's playing. Who the hell are they playing? Can't remember who the hell Miami is playing. Now I can't move on until I find out who they're playing. Where the hell is it? Where the hell is that game? Oh, that's right. They're playing Duke on Friday. That's right. They're a road favorite against Duke on Friday, and Duke was actually one of my picks that I gave with Big Man on Campus on Saturday against North Carolina. Duke, I bet Duke at -2.5, and money came in on North Carolina. By the time I was talking about it with Big Man, Duke was North Carolina was a -1 point favorite, and Duke was an underdog. And I said to Big Man, I said, I don't understand that line move. Who's betting North Carolina here? And then Big Man and I decided to both add it to our records. And it was a close game, but Duke wound up pulling it out. Duke is a good team this year, dude. They got a dual threat quarterback. Yes, they are. Now, Miami's a good team too, but now they're a road favorite on a Friday night game against Duke. That is an interesting game. I don't really want to bet against either of those teams, so I might wind up passing on it, but it's definitely an interesting matchup. All right, so let's get back to MLB. All right, so finalizing my picks and wrapping up the show. Once again, I'm on Dallas officially, -2.5. The only pick I've given officially in MLB is the Angels, second half, -135. I'm really liking that one. And, and I also gave Houston on the first 5 innings, -130. I will definitely also throw on Boston here, -1 Pomeranz against Anderson. You know, if that loses, it'll be -1.5 units, but that's okay. Money line part of that is -203 at Bookmaker Bet DSI, and the run line part of that is -105 at the Pinnacle. So that's like a -151 -1 line there for Boston, but that's okay. I'll take it. I'm a believer in Pomeranz, and Anderson got shelled his last time out. And the Philly game, I have to take this one. I will take it. I'll take Philly on the first 5 innings line. Oof, wow. -145 is the best line there. Let me see what Pinnacle has. Pinnacle has -146. Wow. Okay, so these sports books ain't nobody's fool here. All right, I will. Wow, damn. I could just take a -1 and get some plus money there. All right, that's what I'll do. I'm going to take Philly -1 instead of the first 5 innings. You see what I did there? Because first 5 inning lines and home team run lines and first 5 inning money lines are pretty correlated. If I want to take them on the first 5 innings, I'd have to take -145, but I can get them -1 at plus money. So I'm going to take that one. I might get burned by that, but that's what I'm going to do. Philly -1. Money line part of that, -135 at Pinnacle, the Greek, and the Intertops. Intertops with a Philly -135, and the run line part of that will be +154. at Pinnacle. So that's a plus money line there for Philly -1. Let's see. What else will I add on to my official slate of games here? I will add on St. Louis first 5 innings. Let's see what that line is. St. Louis first 5 innings, -130. Kind of surprised that one isn't higher. Let's see what it is at the Pinnacle. -135. All right. A little bit surprised that the market isn't betting that one up, but I will take that one. St. Louis first 5 innings, -130. That is a bookmaker and Bet DSI. That's a bookmaker and Bet DSI line. Let's see. My other leans were the first 5 innings over in the Angels White Sox game. It's a little bit of a tricky one here. But you know what? I will. I mean, because Shields has been. Marty Ice is zoning out. Marty Ice is like, I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. You do? You're it's over. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. The first 5 innings over in that Angels White Sox game is very tempting. Shields can have a good start, and so can Nolasco. But you know what? I probably should just give that one. I'll give it over 5.5 -103. Angels and White Sox first 5 innings. Over 5.5, 103. I'll give that one as well. So it looks like I'm winding up giving most of my leans here. All right. So to sum up, and you know what? I will give the Dodgers, LA Dodgers, first 5 innings, team total over 2.5. To hit Travis Wood, nice job by Travis Wood in his last start, but I'm not sold on Wood being able to do it again here against the Dodgers. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully the Dodgers won't. I mean, they've been such a bad bet in all ways for such a long time, but I will take that one. LA Dodgers, first 5 innings, team total over 2.5. Where the hell is that line? Team total over 2.5, -125. All right. So my official picks to sum up: Philly -1, Boston -1, Houston first 5 innings. Angels, second half, best play of the day and low-hanging fruit. Angels, White Sox, first 5 innings, over 5.5. St. Louis, first 5 innings, money line. And LA Dodgers, first 5 innings, team total over 2.5. That is 7 plays right there, Marty Spice. Yes, 7 MLB plays for the Monday card. It is you have to be very careful about the lineups in all these games once again, but that just about wraps it up. Great. Dallas Starbuck saying, "LOL, wake your ass up, Marty Ice." No, Marty Ice. He's got a lot,
I was just staring at the table thinking about something.
Yeah.
About this stuff.
I totally understand it. Hako Schofield saying Astros low-hanging fruit. I wouldn't quite go that far, but I agree it's a good play, and I'm on them on the first 5 innings, and I'll be annoyed if they don't win the first 5 but win the whole game, but that's okay. That's the way it goes. And Anil Frank asking about what about Flex and Sims over 9. Anil Frank, I haven't been able to see the lineups for that game, and I just can't give any official picks on a doubleheader like that until I see the lineups of the first game. Certainly flexing, very fadeable right now. All right, and that's about it. That is about Jeremy Lee saying, Pete, you're the shit. Wow, a lot of people saying I'm the shit recently. Did you notice that? Yeah, a lot of people. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone. Appreciate it so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate the positive comments. I really, really do. And that's it. That wraps up the show. 7 MLB picks for today, officially 1 NFL pick. And we'll be back tomorrow for the MLB card. We'll cover the WNBA game. And hopefully I'll have some college football totals that I'm liking. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you tomorrow.